in my, as you say, khandan, that extended family, nobody crossed beyond metric. I am the first matriculate. Of course, then I am the first graduate.
It's so difficult, especially in Twitter. You can't please all the people all the time.
You can't fool all the people all the time.
Right.
Has this trolling is a part of social media.
I know.
Some police officer who is actually following the law, he is soft spoken. अरे वो तो ऐसे ही है, मतलब ढीला डाला है. So that's very bad thing actually I'm telling you. If you make them heroes and if you think that they are really that Salman Khan and Ajay Devgan type, we are doing a bad thing. We are not gundas. Why should we do it like that?
We are extremely happy and privileged to have Shri Arun Bothra, Additional DG Crimes and CID and Commissioner Transport Odisha, and of course a TEDx speaker. Sir, welcome to mycitylinks, our change leaders. We have met long back, but it's always a privilege to meet you again and again, especially when we have this amazing audience across the world who will be watching you in our show. But everybody knows you as a professional police person, as a leader, and of course a social worker, and a person very popular on Twitter. But you began in Rajasthan as a young boy in school, of course. So lots of people would like to know about this story of your yesteryears, because that itself gives a lot of ambition and inspiration to the young generation.
Yeah, thank you, Sanu, first of all, for inviting me to this program. You have been a friend for 20 years, more than 20 years now. You are among very few people whom I met while I landed in Cuttack as a probationer in 1999. My life also started like any middle class ordinary boy. I come from Rajasthan, and not only Rajasthan, I come from Pakistan border. Alright. My village or town is about 100 kilometers away from Pakistan border. From there to the eastern coast, almost touching the eastern boundary of India. So it has been quite a journey for me. I'm not very educated person, formally not very educated person, I would say. Whatever the life has taught me, it's a different thing. I did my schooling in a government school in my town. Then because there was no college there, my father shifted to Faridabad. We had an industry in Faridabad, so my father shifted there because he basically for the education purpose. So I completed my graduation in Ballabgarh near Faridabad, and after that I started working very early. I took up a job at the age of 19 or say 19 and a half years old I was that time as a trainee journalist. So I have been working for quite a long time now, and in different roles, different positions. That's how I can tell about my initial years.
Amazing. Very few people would know that you had an experience as being a journalist. Now, in some way, you have been on the other side and being part of government, but you also come back to media through social media, and you have been so popular. I must say to people who have been readers and viewers of mycitylinks that it's very difficult to be a leader, especially in social media, and Shri Arun Bothra has done it so well. We have artists, we have celebrities, we have filmmakers, everybody on social media, and they're very popular. But somebody who does his work and does it very well, and at the same time is so witty on social media. We'll come back to Twitter, of course, again, because we are on social media when we are putting up this show. There's one very important question, and a lot of questions we have actually taken from your fan following, and we try to compile it, because actually if you want to do a show with you, you have to do 4 episodes. So let's start with one at least. Tell us something about your family members. We recently, in fact, while we are shooting this, this show will be shown a little later, but yesterday was your birthday, July 16th, and we saw so many people wishing you from across the world, and such amazing wishes. But we saw on your birthday yesterday an emotional tweet for your brother Shri Ajay, and you mentioned that he sacrificed because you are the eldest in your family, and he sacrificed and became the person who ran the business so that you could give UPSC. A little about that.
Yeah, we are three brothers. I am the eldest, as I mentioned, Arun, then Ajay, and Sanjay. And we have a sister. Our sister is the youngest, Minal. I am from a, if you say, we are from a Marwadi Jain family. So everybody is in business. And education was not something which was the priority. In fact, you will be surprised to know, in my, as you say, Khandan, that extended family, nobody crossed beyond metric. I am the first matriculate. Of course, then I am the first graduate, and I came to this position with grace of God. So that's how it is. We had a factory in Faridabad actually, Bothra Textile Mills, and my father was in, we were manufacturing cloth, and then in a factory there are so many things you have to do. You have to do the management part, you have to do the marketing part.
Yeah.
So my father was the person who was dealing with everything. So I was taunted by many people in my family, not my immediate family, but my relatives would say that you are not helping your father, you are already 24, 25, you are the eldest son, your father needs your support. So my younger brother, Ajay, he is 2 years younger to me. He told me, "Bhai, don't worry, you focus on your study, I am taking care of everything." And I must tell you, I mentioned in a tweet also yesterday, he actually is the person who has kind of taken care of the business, taken care of finances, and even now, we are all from, in all Indian families, there are a lot of social commitments, like marriages, and you have to give things to your relatives and all these things. So because I'm in Odisha, I don't get leave, I can't go there regularly. So he is the person who takes care of all the social commitments and financial commitments also. But only thing is that with the grace of God, he has very good business. He into Tanishq. Okay. He has Tanishq franchises in Rajasthan and doing very well. In fact, somebody asked me yesterday in that thread only that who has more money now. So I wrote a tweet, I did not post it actually. I wrote that he pays more income tax than my annual income. His income tax
That's a nice way to put it.
His income tax is more than my income actually, total income.
So he's also giving back to society.
So he is, yes. And of course, everybody, my father, mother, they have been very, very supportive to me for my education. My father never told me, never he told me that you come to the factory, you do the business thing, never. And one thing I would like to tell you, which is very important, when I came to the job, my father told me something very interesting. He told me that we have no dearth of money, like for a middle class family, we have enough. And I have enough property for your kids. But you are the first person who is going into a good service, a so-called powerful position.
Something of a lot of pride for the
Exactly.
family.
So everybody, in fact, in the family expects you to bring good name. We don't need anything else. You focus on your profession, your career, and do good service and good name I want from you, nothing else. So today I am very happy, and I would say I am proud actually. My father came here. Of course, he comes maybe once in a year or twice in a year. These days he is not able to come because of since Corona time. But he comes and he meets people here and there, and then he comes back and tells me that I met somebody and he was telling you, "Aapka beta bada अच्छा कर रहा है."
He must be feeling
so that's something which he feels very happy, and that is the thing which makes me also very happy. That when my parents coming here, people whom I don't know whom he met, where he met, but somebody telling him कि आपका बेटा अच्छा है, and we like your son as citizens. There can't be bigger thing than that for me.
Absolutely. And we should thank Shri Senior Mr. Bothra and of course Ajay ji for giving India and the world such a wonderful person who has been I mean, you've been multitasking and doing well in every field. And like before the interview, you were saying, it's been a bit of luck and a bit of blessings from everybody.
Absolute.
I think if your intentions are good, the world combines and gives you back.
Yes.
So
The universe conspires. Exactly.
Yeah. So a small, I mean, it's a small question, but can create sort of a lot of impact on a lot of people. Who influenced you most during your school and college days? Any teacher who guided you about your career? Anybody you remember?
Not exactly. I will say number one, my mother. Mother is a teacher, as you know.
Absolutely.
So my mother was very keen. She's not much educated, but she would always kind of support me. Father, of course, supported financially and other things, but I don't remember my father discussing with me about my books or my lessons. But mother, of course, I still remember there was a poem, Hindi poem about Maharana Pratap. That there was I don't remember who has written it, but it was in Hindi or Rajasthani, that one animal, he snatches away a roti from his son's hand in jungle, when Maharana Pratap is roaming around in jungle. So that was a poem in my book, and I can see right now also, I can visualize. I used to stand in front of my mother and I will kind of recite that poem, and my mother would clap and she will say that it's very good, nice,
She was your first audience and
घास अरे घासरी रोटी ही जद बन बिलावड़ो ले भाग्यो, माने घास का रोटी है, वो बन का एक बिलाव लेके भाग गया है, तो राणा के मन में बड़ा दुख आया, समथिंग लाइक दैट. So that way she would discuss with me, and she supported, promoted, motivated me for education, for studies. Teacher, one particular person I can say, yes, he is no more, Dr. Alan Srivastava. Dr. Alan Srivastava was my political science teacher in college. And he will always talk about principles. He would always say that don't think about these marks and rank and all these things. Think about principles. These things will, after 10, 20, 30 years, nobody talks, like today, nobody is going to ask you how much you scored in history. Absolutely. In 10th, or how much you scored in BA or MA in which paper. Those days when we were studying, this would have been a very, very important thing for us. Absolutely. But today nobody bothers about it. But what people see and what people evaluate you with is your principles. Absolutely. How you behave with people, how you work in your profession, all these things. One thing I remember, which will be interesting for the audience, I would say, he had a habit, Professor Srivastava, he had a habit, once he will come to class, other than that, Rousseau, Hegel, Marx, all those chapters in political science, he would rather talk about things happening in the country, like whatever was the news headline that day. He will come and start talking about some presidential election or some government getting toppled or something like that. Those days, whatever, Punjab problem was very much there. Right. So he will talk about that. And mostly his syllabus was unfinished, but rather than teaching us about those political theories, he taught the class about the real political science, the current situation, current affairs. Maybe because of that I got interested into current affairs, right, which helped me in UPSC later. Right. But the point I was trying to make here is that I particularly was very happy taking part in those discussions in the class. So what I will do, what we would be doing, we were five friends, Kailash, Gopal, Arun, Ishwar and Vinod, 5 of us. So what we will do, we will, before he will enter the class, we will write something on the blackboard, one sentence, maybe 10, 20 words. And I will draft that So that I would say would have been my first tweet,
Absolutely, I was just coming there.
right? That was kind of Twitter kind of
How
thing.
to communicate with minimum.
Twitter kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So it was, we were tweeting actually. It was not, social media was not there, Twitter was not there. But that was something I still remember. I would write say 10, 20 words. My writing is not very good. So Gopal, his writing was good. So I will write something on the paper. Gopal then write very neatly on the blackboard. And the teacher comes, after the attendance, he will look at the blackboard and he will start talking about that, because that topic was more interesting than this thing. So we would kind of prompt him. It was a prompting him to talk about something about that current situation, current news and all. So that was, I would say that it was in a way tweeting those days when Twitter was not there. So Professor Srivastav, yes, I remember him. Still I remember. He has influenced me quite a bit.
Thank you so much. In fact, that tells our viewers and audience so much that summarizing and doing a bit of comprehension in school and college helps so much in telling what you want to say in because our attention spans are actually going down, and it's very important to tell what you want to tell in short. So Twitter has also helped. It was so nice to know about your school and college days, and of course people who influenced you from your childhood till your college. But nowadays we see you as a influencer in media, because you have amazing PR and media skills, and of course you mentioned that you have had a background as a journalist. But how did you achieve these skills? Did it come naturally, or it started growing on you as skills because you do it so well? People like me and a lot of people learn from you directly, and a lot of people I think across the world, across the country learn from you indirectly, that how subtle you can be, but you put in your point.
2, 3 things I can tell you here. One is because I had a background of media. I started as a journalist. I was working in a newspaper called Jansatta. It's a Hindi daily of Indian Express Group. I worked there for full 3 years, 3.5 years. So I learnt, you meet a lot of, of course I started as a trainee journalist. Then I have seen a lot of senior journalists also when I was there. Mr. Arun Shori was the chief editor of Indian Express that time, and Prabhas Joshi, he was the chief editor of Jansatta. So I have seen their, not exactly that I worked with them directly, but I have seen their editorial policies and how they conducted this thing. So that helped me, one. 2, what I have learned during those days and even now, you have to be original and authentic. If you are there, then media loves you. Because if you try to use media, I am very sure about it, and I am telling it particularly to the younger officers and anybody, whoever is listening to me. If you think that you can use media to project yourself as larger than what you are, then you are committing a mistake. So say or do whatever you are, and because see, today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, people will know the reality. You can't really fool, as they know, you can't fool all the people all the time.
Right.
So, and now with the social media, there are all the people there. So you can't fool them. So you have to be authentic. Like supposingly I am a middle class person. I am originally a middle class, let's say upper middle class person. So if I try to act like other than my class, I'll get caught somewhere. So one has to be truthful, authentic and real. If you are there, then there is nothing to worry about media, or nothing to worry about the kind of managing media, as they say, media management. So I actually don't like this word, media management. You can't manage, if you are saying you are managing the media, that means you are presuming that media people are fools and you can manage them. You can't manage anybody. 1. 3, which is again very important, when you are working in an organization, try to do things and try to tell things to media from your organization perspective. If your organization gets good name, then you will get good name by default.
Absolutely.
So there are two ways. I have seen many officers, many younger officers particularly, like you are doing something and you are projecting it as your individual achievement.
Right.
It's not the right thing to do, because see, other than that post, if you have something which is, if you are something other than your post, other than your position, then it's okay, right? Like for example, I'm telling you in my case, my Twitter handle is a handle of Arun Bothra. It's not Twitter handle of an IPS officer or a transport commissioner or a DG crime or something. Of course, I use that Twitter handle for promoting the things which I should be promoting as a professional, like cyber safety, road safety. Those things are part of my work, and I try to promote them through my handle. But I can tell you with certainty, I do not use my official handles to promote myself. That looks bad. That will be bad. If I use Crime Branch Twitter handle to promote myself as a person, that becomes bad. So not about me, but I'm telling you that's how things should be. So if you are promoting the organization, if you are promoting the organization goals, your organization getting good name. Supposingly today Odisha police gets good name for anything, I will also be the part of the success story.
Reflects on the team and the leader.
It will be the entire team, and I am also part of the team. But if you are doing something for your own, like creating your own persona and kind of your own profile and all, that is where people commit mistake. So I, maybe because of my background in media, maybe because of this much experience in last 20-23 years, I have learned this, that you don't use media, as they say, using media, it will not work, to promote your organization. And if your organization is getting good, like supposing I was in Mobus, you know that. So we used to promote Mobus. Those days, I can tell you, those days, our Crute handle, Mobus handle was not that popular. They had very limited followership. So I used to use my handle, personal handle, to promote those goals of the organization.
Because that was a new organization, you were already there.
Yes. So because I was already in social media, so I thought, why not use my handle to promote public transport and help people whatever way we can. So I think that's how things have come that way naturally, I would say. And Twitter, of course, I think we'll be talking about it again. But again, what I think people like about me in Twitter also, I come as a in my Twitter space also, I come as an individual, as a regular normal person, not as a kind of bureaucrat and top cop or those kind of things. People of course call me, they love me, but I don't behave like that. I think that's maybe that can be the reason of so-called success, Twitter success, you can say.
Thank you so much. Amazing answer, and like you said, you have to be true to media, you have been true to yourself and your followers. Like you mentioned that you can't fool all the people all the time. I must tell our audience in social media and generally your fan following, it's so difficult, especially in Twitter, to keep everybody pleased. I mean, you can't fool all the people all the time. You can't please all the people all the time.
Absolutely.
And I must say, I have been your Twitter follower. Other than some random, malicious, mostly anonymous comment, you have managed, keeping our fingers crossed, you have managed to please most of the people all the time. So that's kudos to you, sir. Congratulations. And I'm sure, like you said, it's going to help your social media profile as a reflection of what you do and what your organization does, but it also helps your organization in many ways and generally for the public.
Here I can add one more thing, Sanu, which is important again. See, social media has this, trolling is a part of social media.
I know.
So one thing, if you are on social media, you should understand that trolling is a part of the game. Now you cannot expect that you will be on social media, you will be open, and then people should
say nice things.
Kind of, they will be very nice and they will kind of keep that protocol, so-called protocol and those things, and you will not be targeted. You may be targeted. But how you react to the targeting, that is more important. So there, if you are not losing balance, if you are not coming out as some kind of arrogant person who is not willing to listen, I'm telling you, sometimes you will be surprised to know, sometimes when I write something and somebody writes something which is absolutely against me, about the idea I have projected, like I have written something, for example, that this should happen, and the other person writes, no, this is wrong, this should not happen, and this is the reason. I like his tweet. I like his tweet because see, I had a point of view, he has a point of view.
Absolutely.
I have liked, because I have liked many people who are opposing me, because it is about the idea. Only thing which I don't like is the use of bad language. And use of bad language, I am very, very vocal about it. If somebody is using bad language against you, I should be opposing it. Somebody is using bad language against a woman, we should be opposing it. Absolutely. Because social media, if we want to keep that space clean, and if we think that, that the space is important for all of us, all of us have to fight to keep that space clean. If somebody is abusing somebody and others are clapping, that means you are promoting this guy, you are promoting this bad person. Yeah. So we should, like I'm telling you again one thing, there's a lady, I'm forgetting her name, she is from, of course, extreme left. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name. Now, that lady has been opposing me also, and many people otherwise also. It's about ideas. But some people talk about her looks. Some people make bad comments about her looks.
That's unfortunate.
I always make it a point to oppose them. I have hidden the replies. I have blocked people. I have blocked people for abusing that lady about her looks. We don't agree on issues. So if you want to oppose that lady or anybody, for me, for example, on the issues, it's perfectly fine. That's how social media is. Absolutely. It's not. It's a democratic world, democratic domain, democratic space, but not using bad language, not abusing people for their looks, for their religion, for anything. Absolutely. So that's how it is. Trolling is part of it, and sometimes maybe you can say that I have also trolled people in a very subtle manner, because if somebody, I don't do it honestly, directly, but if somebody tries to troll me, that I know how to counter troll it.
I mean, sometimes you have to react properly, sometimes not reacting is also a reaction.
That's also a reaction. Sometimes you think that it's not, because see, there are say 300 comments and there are 290 have supported you and 10 people have opposed you. Then out of those 10, I will not be reacting to all 10. Maybe I'll be reacting to 1 or 2, whoever I think is worth reacting. Not all, of course.
So that's a lot of learning for people who are young people, older people in different professions, how to handle social media. It's not an easy
not an easy thing, yes, but yes.
Easy, but I think you're also learning every day.
Yeah, but every day you learn, of course.
I'll put this in inverted commas, these two words, very important words. We have been hearing these words since a long time. Super cop, for a lot of police officers in the past also. You are now considered as a super cop. But interestingly, I am also from a family which my father was also in the IPS and he had a big moustache, but he had a good sense of humor behind the moustache.
Yes.
So, you are known for your wonderful, amazing, subtle sense of humor. But super cop is something when people the policeman, the IPS also would be moving around and thrashing people. But you do it very subtly and you get your job done. How do you manage your sense of humor and where did you get it from? Was it in your genes or you just learned it? And the super cop part of it, managing people in your own force and of course the public.
See, first I'll talk about those words. I personally do not believe, honestly I do not believe in that super cop thing. See, maybe by our hard work or by luck or by grace of God, by blessings of our parents and elders, we get into this job. And because I am in IPS, I get to be in the front. Now, when we do something, like I have been lucky to detect some very good cases. in Odisha and even when I was in CBI. But it actually is teamwork always, as you know. I'll tell you one anecdote here. I went to Gwalior once during my college time. We went to museums, that Gwalior Museum, Scindia Museum. So there were a lot of pictures there where some tiger, some killed tiger. You know, those days people used to go for hunting. It was not banned also. Of course, it's totally ruled out now, and so it was a bad thing, I would say. It is bad thing to hurt animals, wild animals particularly. But those days, you know, hunting was allowed, British time. So old pictures were there, and every picture, one Scindia, either Scindia, the king or the prince, he was standing with a rifle like this, and the picture was taken. So I asked that guide, यार सिंधिया जी ने इतने शेर मारे, मतलब must be a brave person, इतने शेर उन्होंने मारे. तो he smiled. He said, sir, मतलब of course we were students. He said, फौज लड़ती है और नाम जनरल का होता है.
So somebody else shot.
Somebody else, that the group of hunters, they must have killed. पर जब फोटो लेने की टाइम आया तो सिंधिया जी अकेले उधर खड़े हो गए. So it is mostly like that. Lot of people work, but once it, of course, it is both ways. It is your victory as well as defeat. It comes to the leader. So there is nothing called supercop. Media and social media and people, they make it that larger than life. So I personally don't believe in that. One. Two, you talked about humor part.
Yeah.
Humor, I don't know, maybe natural. My father is very sarcastic. He speaks very sarcastically. Sometimes very bitterly also we feel bad because we say, yaar, papa, aap aisa kya bol rahe ho? But maybe because of that. But humor, again I'm telling you, because there's a very important thing you mentioned about image of the police officers. It brings us to the question of image of the police officers. I can tell you, police is the only profession, I would say, in this country which has an inbuilt dilemma. I'll tell you how. People expect police to be Singham and Dabang, right?
Right.
So it is very unfortunate that if, like for example, an SP comes to a district and he goes around beating around people, as you say, or a thanedar, a daroga, an SHO, IAC, he goes around beating people, this, that, then you know what people will say, bada dabang afsar aaya hai, bada singham afsar aaya hai. It is not. He is violating the law. He is abusing your human rights. So our image should be we should actually be normal people doing a job, like you are doing some job, I am doing some job. There is nothing very great about it. But the society, the movies, the general perception is that कोई आदमी पिटाई विटाई कर रहा है तो ये बड़ा तगड़ा अफसर है. Or you find somebody, some police officer who is actually following the law, he is soft spoken, he talks nicely, he smiles at you. अरे वो तो ऐसे ही है, मतलब ढीला डाला है. So that's very bad thing actually, I'm telling you. So what I do actually, and what I believe that many people are doing now, is that when you say change of the image, we should be changing our image to humans. We should not be changing our image to heroes.
The police officer is not a species of different
Yes,
species.
police officers, if you make them heroes, and if you think that they are really that Salman Khan and Ajay Devgan type, we are doing a bad thing. So any police officer or any profession for that matter, we are humans, and you take us like humans, and you treat us like humans, and if we really step out of that, then you bring us back, rather than clapping यार वो बड़े वो तो पिटाई विटाई करते हैं और डंडा वंडा चलाते हैं और दादागिरी होता है. We are not gundas. Why should we do it like that? So that I try, and I'm happy about it. I'm telling you, one of my achievements, personal achievements, which I credit myself with, is that I have been able to change the image of a senior police officer to some extent on Twitter, on social media. Many people say that, sir, you are one person who is approachable, who is approachable. We can come to you with some problem, something, asking you something. So that is how I think if more people, most of us, we start behaving, then the image will change for better.
So obviously you've done well as a police officer, and we should thank you as a person, as a professional. You've done well and it's served the public so well. But you have also made systematic changes for customers when you were literally in CRUT, and been a proactive, faster solution provider and a true ambassador of Twitter governance. So multitasking different roles. How do you manage your time and patience, of course?
Time is a serious issue. Time is a
We'll
serious.
come to that again in the end.
Yes. No, but okay, I'll talk more about the more substantial issue about Twitter governance. One thing I must tell you, I have been lucky actually. I have been really lucky that I got a chance to work in non-police departments.
Right.
I like policing, that's my parent department, that's my bread and butter. But I have been lucky to get exposure outside policing. I was in CRUT, I was in CESU, if you remember, electricity supply utility. Now then I went to OSRTC, and now as Transport Commissioner. So last 3-4 years, especially I have been out of police and doing various things. Now of course I am back to police also. Now that has given me a very different exposure, because in police also serves people, but that is little negative way, like some crime has taken place and you are delivering justice, you are helping in delivering justice. But ultimately it's a negative kind of job. No, not negative in that sense, but I am saying that something has happened, somebody has been wronged and you are trying to give justice. But as MD CRUT, it was a positive role, like running buses, providing something to people, citizens. Then I got into CESU. Now CESU is, electricity. Now buses, they are citizen thing, because a lot of people require buses. Electricity, everybody requires electricity. OSRTC again, buses, because a lot of people use buses. So I have been lucky to have worked in such departments, or got a chance to work in such departments which has direct connect with the people. And whatever I could do was directly affecting citizens. That was something which was I am actually very happy about. Two, how could I manage to do something positive for the people? For that I will say very simple thing. If you think from the citizen's perspective, you have a restaurant or you have a company, you always look at the citizen's your client's response, right? If your client is happy, you think how to make him happier. If your client is unhappy, you think how to make him happy. So as electricity supply utility CEO or as the bus company MD, I was keeping a track of my clients rather than thinking myself or anybody as I'm a government boss and I'm providing some service to people. If you think as a business organization and think from your client's perspective, your customer's perspective, things become very simple, things become very easy. And there, this Twitter helped me.
Right.
Twitter helped me a lot. And I seriously believe it, I am telling it with emphasis. I seriously believe it that social media has given a great opportunity to officers, to the government, to make very, very good and positive change. I'll tell you how. Now, I was SP Angul long back, say 20 years ago, when there was no Twitter or no social media. Now, some citizen who has been wronged or who is not getting justice in Palada or say in Atmalik, that person will be traveling by bus all the way to Angul, to the district headquarters to meet the SP, that is me. And once he is coming, he has no idea whether I am at the headquarters, whether I am on a tour or something, or whether I have some meeting scheduled that day. So he might, though I make it a point not to make people wait, but then by that situation, he or she might have to wait for 1 hour, 2 hours. Then after meeting the person, that person is going to tell me the problem, and I will say, okay, look into it. That's how it used to happen. And the person goes back. Now, if I have redressed the problem, I had no way to communicate back that whether we have been able to solve the problem, whether we are not able to solve the problem, whether we need some more information about it. There was no way. Think about Twitter now. Think about Twitter. If the person in Atmalik, sitting in Atmalik, sends a tweet tagging the SP, it is coming directly to SP within no time.
Right.
And SP can redress the problem and send it a message back in no time. Right? So the barriers, the physical barriers, the distances, and not only that, again, you tell me, how was it possible at all, say 10 years ago, if somebody is traveling, you are traveling in a train, and the water is not there, or the fan is not working, or AC is not working.
Could immediately.
What will you do? If say, AC is not working, you will be just sitting and suffering and cursing the government. Now you can simply tag the rail minister. It's like all the people, the minister of railways in government of India, you can tag that AC is not functioning. And maybe next on the next station, you will have somebody coming and repairing the AC. So the social media gives us great chance, great opportunity to improve our performance, to help people, to serve the people better. Only thing, you have to have open mind. You have to keep your eyes and ears open and use social media for creative things. One thing which will happen, maybe in 5% cases, 10% cases, you will not be able to redress the problem. You will not be able to help, because the issue is like that. People may be cursing you again. Those you have to ignore.
Absolutely.
You can't say that people are asking for something, they are asking for moon, how do I do it?
Exactly.
Okay, you are not able to give the moon, but whatever is available, whatever you can do, whatever you should and you must do, Twitter or any social media gives us the opportunity to do it better. So it is giving me a chance. Now you know that issue, one student, one boy in some coaching college, coaching institute, he sent a tweet to us that my bus timing is not suiting my class. Can you change the timing by 5 minutes? You know, it was kind of applauded hailed by so many people. But for me it was not a difficult thing, because once we got the tweet, I simply asked my GM operation over phone that can you please, his name is Chandan Mishra, I said, Chandan, can you please check whether we can change the timing, because the boy is asking like that. So he checked the timing on net. He said, sir, yes, we have good margin for 15 minutes. If required, we can change the timing by 5-10 minutes. I said, okay. Are you sure? He said, yes, sure. I said, how much time it will take? He said, sir, it will take no time. We can do it tomorrow. I said, okay. So I posted a tweet back that yes, your timing will be changed from Monday. I said, okay, let's keep some margin, because if I'm not able to do it tomorrow, I said, Monday we will change the timing. Okay. So looking at it, it looks a great thing that I have done or somebody has done. But if you think practically, it was only a matter of 2 phone calls. But only thing, you need to have intent, and you need to keep your eyes and ears open to get information, get the requirement from social media and fulfill it, and do it, kind of communicate it back to the person concerned. Absolutely. That's how. So Twitter governance or social media governance is an amazing thing, not for citizens only, for the government also.